Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do a bit of a sketchbook video and I want to do like a sketchbook spread. I've been doing these a little bit lately and I honestly find them so fun. So today we're going to be sketching here in my cream colored sketchbook, and I really wanted to use the cream one because I haven't really used it too much for a proper artwork other than this one, which I really like, as well as the one of my cat earlier. We have a giraffe centaur here, and next page will be the page that I do this spread on. So what are we going to be sketching here on this spread? Well, I kind of feel like I want to draw some witchy stuff. I think it would be fun to do a sketchbook spread with like a witch's hat, maybe a potion, a black cat, just like witchy items, and yeah, I just wanted to do that. So for the art supplies today, I'm going to be using my Copic markers here. I think they're really fun to use on this cream colored paper. And I'm also going to be using some fine liners here, as you can see. I have a really nice mix of fine liners here. I have some Copic brand ones, I have some graphics ones, I believe, Artline, also Montmartre. All of these are good to use with Copic markers, so that's what we're going to do today. So let's begin this with a sketch, and I'm just going to be using a graphite pencil here to start, and I am going to be drawing a witch's hat because that's the first thing that I think of when I think of like a witch and like, you know, witchy aesthetic stuff. Now the aesthetic that I'm going for is not evil witch, it's more like the naturey, whimsical, magical sort of aesthetic of a witch, and not like Wicked Witch of the East or anything like that, obviously. Like witch positive art instead of like witch negative. Now I'm not overly happy with how the brim of this hat is looking. I think it looks a little bit strange, so I'm just going to erase this a little bit here and redraw it a little bit to, I don't know, just better match the top part of the hat. I'm also using a different pencil here because the other one kind of broke and I couldn't sharpen it. It like kept breaking, so yeah. Don't you hate when that happens? But anyways, let's finish up this sketch and see what we have. So to make this a little bit more interesting, I'm going to add some plants here. I drew a ribbon around the brim of this hat, and I think some little plants tucked in there would look really nice, and I think would look cute. So I'm really liking the way that this hat is looking now, so I'm just going to lighten this sketch up a bit with my kneadable eraser here, as you can see, and after that I'm going to go over with my inking pens. So inking this is a little bit straightforward. I am just using a fine inking pen here. I think it's like 0.3 or something like that, and I'm just going around and doing all of the details, and then after this I'm going to add a thicker outline around the edge of the piece, as well as just emphasizing some details here and there. Now I'm just adding in some cross hatching here at the bottom so I can emphasize that there is an empty space in there, and yeah, I really love doing this because I find it just adds a little bit of visual interest. It won't be as noticeable once I color it, but the details will be there and they will count. So now we're going to go in with these markers here. I have some Copic markers as well as some other alcohol-based markers. And I'm just starting with some blue because I want to add blue for an underpainting. I'm going to be using this for the shadows, and then once I add purple over the top and then like add some more shadows and stuff, it's going to make it look really nice and deep and colorful. As you can see, I've added some pinkish purple into where I want some of the highlights. Now I'm going in with a darker purple for basically where the shadows are, but where I'm going to layer over that sort of blue color. After I do all of this, I'm going to blend it out and it's going to look pretty nice. Now I want to make this a little bit more vibrant, so what I'm doing here is I am adding a nice sort of bright light pink, and I'm just pushing that into the highlights, and what that is going to do is just brighten up those highlights a little bit, make them a little bit more saturated, and just add a separate hue into this so that it looks really nice and colorful. And now is the time to color in these plants here, and I'm going to be using a mixture of greens, a little bit of teal as well because I think that would look really nice, and perhaps some yellow for the flowers and gold for the ribbon. So that's the witch's hat done, and honestly I really like it. Now as you can see at the moment I am going in and I am painting a little bit of a potion bottle. Now I had the idea to draw a potion bottle and then inside the potion bottle obviously a potion, but have like a little animal skeleton or something else in there like floating around in the solution. I just felt like it would be pretty cool and would be something interesting to draw, so let's draw that. Now I'm just starting off with a sketch, as you can see, and I'm not that particular on what kind of animal or beast it could be. I guess I'm just keeping the details vague. There's some little horns and some teeth and like the remnants of a spine, I guess. You know, whatever it is up to interpretation of the viewer. Maybe it's a little dragon or like a little I don't know, like a little creature or like a little gremlin or something. Who knows? Now we're up to the line art phase. Now let's get that out of the way so that we can get into coloring this little beastie. So I'm starting off with a bit of a teal color here so that we can hint back to the accents of teal in the witch's hat. I'm just making a layer of a light sort of tealish color for the first layer of the potion. Now I want to make this a bit of a gradient, so what I'm going to do is add in a full layer of this teal here. And now we've moved on to a slightly darker teal color, and we are layering on just the bottom half of the little potion bottle, and I'm trying to blend it back with that light teal color, and then we're going to move across that until we get to a nice sort of dark bluish teal color at the bottom, and we're going to have a really cool gradient for this potion. After this, I want to add some warm greys to the cork as well as the little skeleton, and we're also going to add some cool greys to add a shadow to this bottle to make it look more realistic. So I really like that shadow, so I added a little bit to the witch's hat, as you can see. But next we are going to be doing a candle. I thought a candle would be a cool idea, and this technique is slightly different to the technique that I'm going to be like doing in the previous ones. So we're actually going straight in with the marker here, as you can see, because I want to paint like or draw like a painterly looking candle, and then we're going to add on the line art over the top. A candle is more of an organic sort of shape and like kind of item, so I kind of want it to look a little bit natural, and that means that I might have to experiment a little bit with the markers first before we have like a full structure that we want to outline. This part is a little bit scary because I don't want to ruin all the work that I did on that sort of like almost like a painting, but it was with markers, but I still want it to fit in with the style of the others, and obviously they have like strong line art, so of course I'm gonna do the same kind of thing. So I'm just doing rough like shapes around the outside of the candle, and I'm trying to keep it light and soft because that's like what the wax is like. I'm using a little bit of a broken line art texture, which I really like and I think adds to it. And now it's time to add that candle flame, and I decided on blue instead of yellow because the candle is yellow, so I think a blue flame would be really cool and would add to that sort of witchy vibe. Next, I want to just add some little shadows here and there to up the sort of dramatic feeling of this candle, and obviously make it make sense that there's like a light source at the top, so there's going to be shadows at the bottom of like little wax drippings. Now I just want to thicken the outline around this candle a little bit so that it makes a bit more sense with the other items, and then we're going to add a subtle shadow at the bottom as well. So here is our candle. I really like it. I think it works pretty well for the aesthetic. Now I want to add another large item to this sketchbook spread here, and it's going to be a crystal. I think crystals work really well for the witchy aesthetic, and I just really enjoy drawing them as well, so why not? To begin, I like to just do some little diamondy kind of shapes, and I like to use just a lot of straight lines in the sketch, and I'm just doing them like in like random little angles here and there, and have like these crystals sort of jutting out of a sort of centerpiece, which we're just going to end with a little point at the bottom. For the line art, I'm beginning with a grey multi-liner because I want to have some subtle lines in there which will kind of be covered up by the colours that I am going to colour this in. Now at the end, I will probably add some black liner over the top, maybe around the edges and just in some areas where I want to accentuate things, but this is a good way to add like subtle line art that you might not want to be like around every single shape. So now I'm adding in color here, and as you can see I've chosen blue for the color, and that's because I wanted to sort of use the same blue that is in the candle. I feel like I really like when I make like a drawing of like items and all of the colors sort of like fit together really nicely. Like there'll be a little bit of blue in something, and then like the candle there's a little bit of blue, and then the potion has like this teal color, and the hat has a little bit of teal on it too. It just makes everything a little bit more homogeneous, and I really like that. So now we're adding a black outline around the whole thing, and also a few like little lines here and there just to sort of solidify the shapes of these crystals a little bit and make it look a little bit more like one thing instead of like a bunch of shapes, if that makes sense. And it'll also help to have all of these items match nicely, and I think it's gonna look really cool. Now I'm just adding a cool grey shadow to the crystal to match the other ones, and that is it for the major items in this sketchbook spread, but I'm still going to fill the spaces with some other smaller but still awesome witchy things. So next I want to draw a little feather here as well as a mushroom, because I want to sort of accentuate that naturey witch kind of feel. So I felt like a feather would be really cool, because maybe she could like use it as part of her potions, or maybe her little witch's familiar left it for her as a gift. And I'm just using the same method of drawing. I'm just sketching it out, inking it, and then coloring over the top. I decided to go with a sort of iridescent brown and purple for the feather, and a sort of warm orangish brown and grey for the mushroom. And I think they turned out pretty cool. Next, in the bottom left-hand corner, I decided to draw some dried herbs that perhaps this witch could use in her potions, and I think that they turned out pretty cool. I was a little bit worried about the messy line art, but once I added color over the top and sort of like solidified things, I think it turned out alright. And next I decided to draw a little moon, and I just used a bottle to sort of draw around so that I had a circle to actually draw, because drawing circles is a bit hard. And I also decided to draw a cat, because you gotta have a moon and a cat in a witchy sketchbook spread. They're kind of perfect for that sort of aesthetic, and maybe this cat is the witch's familiar. Who knows? And I decided to draw it like kind of spooky looking, but like maybe it just looks spooky, and maybe it's actually really friendly to its little witch friend. Next up, I decided to draw some tarot cards or tarot cards. I'm not sure how to pronounce them. I'm sorry if I offended anyone, but I just felt like it would be nice to add them in here into this little sketchbook spread. And after this, I kind of just wanted to go in between all of the items and just fill in the space with like little symbols and little tiny items with mainly a inking pen. I felt like it needed a little bit more black in this illustration, and I think it works pretty well. So I've got some stars, some little plants, we have a key, and also just some little sparkles here and there. I also added a sun. I felt like that looked pretty cool. And also a flower with like the petals coming off. I just felt like, I don't know, it looked cool and it sort of fitted with the aesthetic. So anyways, here is the final results of this sketchbook spread. And I know that this video is a little bit longer than usual, so if you guys are still watching, thank you so much. I had a blast drawing this and I really love the results, and I hope you guys love it too. If you're keeping a sketchbook, please let me know in the comments below what kind of things you're drawing. Unless you want to keep that private, that is perfectly okay as well. But I love having conversations with you guys in the comments. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Please stay safe out there, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye everyone.